Welcome to Tea is Good, Books Are Better, the podcast where we drink tea and talk about books. I'm Raven.
And I'm Jess.
Why you always gotta make it gross?
Because I'm gross.
Yeah, that's your slogan. Hi, I'm Jess, making it gross. What's up?
Just shutting your dandruff all around my room.
I don't have dandruff. It squeezed me. I was rubbing my hair. It's getting too long.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
You gonna cut that?
Yes. Let's just do it. I'm tired.
Yeah.
Okay, we're just gonna jump into it because I have to get up at 5 a.m. tomorrow. So
Ew!
I gotta go home.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Chapter Catelyn.
Hey!
Oh, we're drinking mojito mint lime tea.
What? That's a thing?
Mhm.
Ah, it's really hot.
It was just boiled.
What the fuck off, bug? Did you see that?
No.
Bitch was coming at me.
Trying to steal your tea.
Oh, that one's interesting.
I'm not the biggest fan of mint teas.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about
But
that.
that one's not bad because I can taste the lime.
Yeah. It does taste like a mojito.
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
Just, where's the gin?
Okay, this is chapter 28.
Is it? Okay. Cat and Sir Roderick are staying at an inn at the crossroads, which I had fun looking at the map.
Oh, it's called the Crossroads?
It's at the Trident, the crossroads there, because I'll get to there. So they're going to stay at the inn at the crossroads where Cat had childhood memories of staying at with her father. The innkeep has stained red teeth from chewing sour leaf. The hell do you think sour leaf is? And why do you chew it?
Well,
Is that like wacky tobacco?
wacky tobacco. It sounds like it's similar. Like,
yeah, like maybe she's getting
tobacco
a little bit
chewers
of a...
would get stained teeth too.
Mhm.
So
I used to scare her as a kid because it looked like a bloody smile. It's freaky.
yeah.
Cat briefly considers heading to the Erie or going to River Run, but then she decides that it's best to return home to Winterfell. And if you look right at the crossroads, to the right heads to the Erie, to the left heads to River Run, and then up north goes straight to Winterfell.
So she is at a literal crossroads.
Yeah.
And a figurative crossroad.
I like
Yeah.
looking at the map sometimes. They get their rooms, and before heading down for supper, Kat decides that they should play the part of a father and a daughter, so they can be in incognito.
Incognito mode.
Incognito mode. The common room is packed with all sorts of people, from dyers with black and purple hands, to stinky fishermen, to massive ironsmiths, tiny old septums, hard sell swords,
So short.
to soft and plump merchants. Sir Roderick finds an empty spot for them to sit and calls for food.
Me too, man.
I'm have a habit of describing the food because it sounds delicious.
Oh, it always
sounds
does.
delicious.
Yeah.
Young Bard sits down with him. He's called a singer in the books, but Bard.
Okay. You just want to call him a bard.
He is a bard. That's his class.
Oh, okay. I see. You're such a dork.
He sits with them and briefly asks Kat about her travels before launching into a story about himself.
Oh, jeez.
Kat thinks to herself that singers love nothing half so well as the sound of their own voices. He weaves a tale about how the last time he went to a tourney, he came away with more silver than he can carry. Then he gambled it all away betting on the Kingslayer. But not this time. This time he'll bet on the Knight of Flowers, Sir Loras.
Uh-huh.
And keep his money. Or double his money. That's how gambling works, right?
I don't know how gambling works.
What's gambling? A serving boy brings them trenchers of bread filled with meat and drippings and skewers of tiny onions, fire peppers, and fat mushrooms.
That sounds like everything I hate, except the fire peppers.
Bread that's been hollowed out and filled with, like, meaty stew.
Yeah, but onions and mushrooms?
Oh, get out of here. To me, it sounds delish. And I have right here, drool. The bard introduces himself as Marillion. It's quite the name. I wonder if he gave it to himself.
Right? Like, I bet his name was fucking Bob.
Bobrick.
Bobrick.
And asks for silver for a song. Sir Roderick scoffs and says that he'll give him a copper at most for his howling, but Marillion insists that he was made to sing for kings and high lords.
And what are you doing in that shitty ass bar?
Right. He's heading to King's Landing.
Yeah, I guess
for the tourney to make loads of silver to gamble on Sir Loras.
Yeah.
A servant's voice calls for the innkeep, announcing Lord Lannister. Cat looks and sees an old man of the Night's Watch, 2 servants, and Tyrion Lannister. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. So the man that Cat thinks tried to kill her son.
This murderer. Mash Shahedal, the innkeep, is very apologetic as there are no more rooms left. But Tyrion's like, no worries, his friends will sleep in this... His men will sleep in the stables. Then he flashes a gold coin, and a free rider immediately offers his room in exchange. Tyrion asks for food to be brought up to his room, and begins to head up when Marillion calls out to him, offering to entertain the lord.
Oh, Marillion.
Oh, shit.
This bitch.
Tyrion is completely uninterested, but his gaze falls on Cat and he recognizes her. Lady Stark? Cat rises to her feet, and the common room hushes. Everyone's like, oh my god, another highborn in our midst.
Wow. Wow, aren't we blessed today?
Cat looks around. Does she dare take the risk? There's no time to think, so she goes for it. She calls to the men sitting in the corner. Is that the black bat of Harrenhal? That was pretty cool. Black bat.
A black bat.
Is that the black bat of Harrenhal on your surcoat? Is Lady Went a true friend of my father? Confused, a man says, she is. Sir Roderick then stands, loosening his sword. Cat looks to a trio by the fire. The Red Stallion, my father's counts. Jonas Bracken, among his most loyal bannermen. Cat turns to a large party. I know your sigil well. The Twin Towers of Frey, how is your lord? Lord Welder plans to take a new wife on his 90th name day, says their captain.
Ew.
Ew.
He's 90, he's taking a new wife.
Ew. Which earlier in the chapter, she notices that the eldest in their group is no older than Bran. And I was like really confused. I'm like, is this a group of 7-year-olds?
I had the same
but
question.
Then I was like, wait. Bran as in Ned's brother? Bran?
That doesn't make sense
when she
either.
first met him?
Why would she think of him as Bran?
Right? I'm so
They've only ever called him
confused.
Brandon.
You're right.
What
is she talking about? So she studied their faces, but they were all too young to have known her. The senior among them would have been no older than Bran when she went north. So when she went north.
Like, for the first time.
Yeah. Bran wouldn't have been born. Her
Yeah.
son. So maybe it was a typo and it was supposed to be Ned or something.
That's weird. I don't see why they would call Ned's brother Bran when they've never called him Bran until...
Maybe it's a mistake.
That's weird. Yeah, that's
I don't get
weird.
it.
Yeah. I was confused as well with that. I was like, huh? Yeah. It's a group of 7-year-olds holding swords.
No, the eldest is Bran's age, and then so it's like a group of 6-year-olds.
There's like one baby in a baby seat.
All decked out.
In the full armor. That would be amazing.
Tyrion sniggers at the idea of Lord Welder. Then Cat declares that this man conspired to murder her son whilst... Is that proper grammar? Whilst?
Yep.
Okay. A guest in her house In the name of King Robert, I call upon you to seize him. And like in the episode, the chapter ends with a dozen swords being drawn on Tyrion.
Pretty dope moment, though.
Yeah. She got him.
Yeah.
Take a sip.
Honestly, though, the last sentence was, like, so awesome, it brought me to tears.
Oh, shit.
How did it go? She did not know what was more satisfying, the sound of a dozen swords drawn as one, or the look on Tyrion Lannister's face. I was like, fuck, yeah. But also, I like Tyrion, so inside...
I was like, fuck, no.
And I don't like Catelyn, so yeah, inside my emotions are very confused. Mm-hmm. I'm like, this is awesome, but I also... I don't like you.
Really brash of her to
do that?
Take him as prisoner before they had proof.
Yeah.
Like, this is a dangerous family, Catelyn. What are you thinking?
She's just like, I need revenge.
Yeah. Oh boy.
It also, in this chapter, it seems like Cat does not really like the North at all.
Yeah, I don't think she truly sees it as her home.
Yeah, because she's like, yeah, she's heading back before the whole thing with Tyrion showing up. She's like thinking about how nice the weather is, like, and that sort of shit. Yeah, she just doesn't seem like she's looking forward to getting back into Winterfell. Even though that's where her kids are, but okay, Catelyn.
Yeah, like, I was kind of confused, like, why would you want to go to River Run or the Eyrie instead of going back home?
Right? Your fucking kids are... Rickon!
Right? Bran just woke up.
Oh my god. Ooh.
Bruh. Okay.
It also...
Oh, wait. Continue.
What the fuck?
I'm just moving on.
It also brings up shadowcats.
Oh, yeah.
And this has been mentioned before, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't... What is a shadowcat?
I have no idea. Like, from what I understood, like a black panther.
That's what I was thinking. Maybe some sort of...
Like a mountain
panther.
lion, but really dark.
Let's see if Google says... A Game of Thrones. What is a shadowcat? Shadow baby?
What?
Why did that pop up? Shadowcats are large felines that are found throughout Westeros. From the lands beyond the wall to the mountains of the moon to the northern... I don't fucking care. Thick black fur with white stripes.
Whoa. So it's like a tiger, but cool looking.
Interesting. Wow. Yeah. This image looks just like a tiger.
Woo.
Black fur and
wow.
white stripes.
Alrighty.
Now we know what a shadowcat is.
Chapter Sansa.
Chapter 29.
Sansa rides to the tourney with Septim Ordain and Jane Poole in a litter with fine yellow silk curtains. Thought that was pretty interesting to think of them being carried to the tourney. Isn't that a litter is?
I don't know.
Like the little box you get carried around in.
Let's see. It is, yeah.
Ooh, little traveling box. Sansa's in a dream. The tourney looks more magnificent than all of the songs have described. The participants parade out, and she thinks of the more famous knights as heroes of 100 songs. She's so dreamy. There are also...
She's so dreamy?
Yeah. Like, the way she thinks of, like, knights and all of that, and, like, just being, like, so, like, this is so dreamy, so magical.
Okay, but you said she was dreamy. That makes it sound like... the heck?
Like a dreamy teen. Or tween.
Okay, you need a different word, though.
Okay. There are also free riders, squires, young lords, and heirs of lesser houses, as well as fighters from across the narrow sea. Jane Poole is frightened by the look of an exiled prince of the Summer Isles, Jalabar Zoe, for his skin that's as dark as night. So I'm like...
So she's scared of
racist.
The black guy? Yeah, what the fuck?
They probably don't see lots of really dark people
I guess so.
in Westeros, but I just thought that was funny.
Yeah, racism's hilarious, Jess.
Didn't you know? The tourney lasts from dawn till dusk. Jesus. Sorry, the tourney lasts from dawn to dusk. Sansa's having one heck of a time. There's a part, I don't really describe the battles because there's just so much. And it goes on and on and on. So I'm just going to pick out the important parts.
Okay.
So Sir Gregor is up against a young knight from the Vale. And his lance is driven through the young guy's neck, killing him instantly. Jane Poole is so horrified. She goes into hysterics and Septa Mordane has to take her away. Sansa, however, watched him die with a strange fascination. She thinks it's curious that she doesn't cry like Jane, but figures that it's probably because she doesn't know him.
She seems weirdly into the violence of the jousting, though.
Yeah. Yeah, like she like chooses people like, get him. But like more in her head. I don't really see her as aggressively screaming.
No, but yeah, in the show she seems like more disturbed by it.
She seems really freaked out. But in here she's like totally into it.
Yeah.
She doesn't even remember his name. Then she realizes that the world will soon forget his name and that there are no songs will ever be sung for him, and that is sad.
Jeez.
He's not going to be famous. How sad. The tourney continues. The Hound unhorses Renly Baratheon so violently that one of his antlers breaks off of his helm. Eventually it's down to 4. The Hound, Sir Gregor, Jaime Lannister, and Sir Loras Tyrell, the Knight of Flowers. Sir Loras is 16 and is the most beautiful person Sansa has ever seen. He is riding a snow-white stallion draped in a blanket of red and white roses.
I can't believe he's only 16.
He's just a kid. And he's like the best.
Yeah.
After each victory, he would take off his helm and pluck a white rose from the blanket and toss it to a fair maiden in the crowd. After he unhorsed his last match, he had stopped in front of Sansa and given her a red rose, saying, "No victory is half so beautiful as you." When Loras had ridden off, a short man she did not know approached her and said that she had a tully look about her. Sansa introduces herself and tells him that she does not know him, and she notices that his smile doesn't reach his eyes.
Gross.
Septa Mordane quickly informs her that this is Lord Peter Baelish of the King's Small Council. He strokes her hair and tells her that her mother was once his Queen of Beauty and that she has the same hair as her mother. Then makes a quick exit.
Gag.
It's like, why are you touching her?
Yeah, get your filthy ass hands off Sansa. What a sicko.
Apparently his breath smells of mint.
Ew.
Because he chews gum all day.
Yeah, because they have gum in Westeros.
By then the moon is up, and the king declares that the last 3 matches will wait till the morning. And they go to the feast where 6 huge Uruks.
What?
Uruks?
Aurochs?
Aurochs.
I'm probably saying it wrong.
6
too.
huge Aurochs had been roasting for hours on wooden spits. Yum!
That's a lot of meat.
She is seated beside Prince Joffrey, and he is a doll to her, and she is delighted. Joffrey talks to Sansa all night.
Wait, he's a doll to her?
He's a total doll to her. He's
That's
so
weird.
sweet on her. It's as if their little Arya wolf thing didn't even happen.
Mm-hmm.
And they eat a fuck ton of food. I'm so impressed. How the fuck do you eat so much food? Barley and venison soup, salads of sweetgrass, spinach and plums, snails and honey and garlic, trout baked in clay, the meat course of the Auruk, sweet bread, pigeon pies, baked apples, and lemon cakes.
That is a lot of food.
Like, all of these huge ass meat meals aren't even the main meat core.
Yeah.
Can't imagine stuffing myself. But she's
What
so
do you mean
stuffed.
you can't imagine stuffing yourself?
Like that much? It's like so many meals all at once.
I would fucking shove all of that into my face.
After the first course, I would be dead. At the end of the courses, King Robert starts shouting at Queen Cersei that she doesn't tell him what to do, and he will joust in the morning as well.
Joust?
Joust, I think. Was it joust?
I thought he wanted to enter the melee.
Oh, yeah.
Melee.
He wanted to join the bruh. that he will join the melee in the morning. Melee?
Melee.
Fuck. Are you saying something different from me?
Yeah.
That he will join the melee?
Melee.
It sounds like melee.
Melee.
Oh.
Melee.
Melee?
He wants to join the melee.
He wants to join the
Melee.
the milady.
Melee.
The melee in the morning as well. At the end of the courses, King Robert starts shouting at Queen Cersei that she doesn't tell him what to do, and that he will join the melee in the morning as well.
Okay.
Melee.
The
queen coldly leaves, her face mask, and Jaime tries to calm him, but the king shoves Jaime, making him fall, to which the king boasts that even the Kingslayer doesn't stand a chance against him.
Oh my god, Robert is such an idiot.
Yeah. Joffrey startles Sansa by touching her arm, a queer look on his face, and tells her that it grows late and asks if she needs an escort back to the castle. Sansa agrees, and Joffrey calls for the Hound, orders him to take her back to the castle, and takes off without saying goodbye.
He's so
I think he was a
bipolar.
little bit triggered by that. Seeing his father treat his mother like that.
Oh, I see.
The Hound is obviously drunk, and Sansa is terrified. She tries to wake Septa Mordane, who is passed out drunk, but to no avail. She silently follows him and decides that she should be polite and tell him that he rode gallantly today. Sandor scoffs and tells her to keep her false compliments to herself. He says that his brother is a knight, and was he gallant too? She says instead that no one could withstand him.
Gregor's his brother, just
Yeah.
as a reminder.
The mountain who rides. The mountain that rides? Yeah, the mountain that rides. Sandor is pissed. He tells her the boy he killed today had not properly fastened his gorget, and that Gregor saw that and purposely drove his lance into his neck.
Whoa.
He demands Sansa look up at him and grabs her face and holds it.
Jesus.
Yeah. The left side of his face is a twisted, scarred mass of black flesh as hard as leather, pocked with craters and fissures by deep...
Ew!
Isn't it nasty? Fissured by deep cracks that gleam red and wet.
Ew!
Now that's extra nasty.
That is so fucking gross.
You see half of his face is black.
He is
Ugh.
not that bad in the show.
Nope.
Not nearly that bad.
No. There is a hole where his ear had been, and by his jaw you could see a hint of bone where the flesh had been seared away.
Oh my fucking
Like,
Lord.
his face sounds horrendous.
No wonder Sansa didn't want to look at him.
No. Sansa begins to cry and he lets go. Sandor continues that most people think his scar is from a great battle, but it is not so. When he was around 6 or 7, a woodcarver made toys for him and Gregor in an attempt to buy favor from their father. He doesn't remember what he was given, but he only had eyes for the little wooden knight that Gregor was given. At that time, Gregor was already a squire. He was only 5 years older and near 6 feet at that time. So he would have been like 11. A squire and almost 6 feet tall.
What the fuck?
And he didn't play with toys anymore by that time. So Sandor took his knight and Gregor found him and shoved his face in the burning coals of the brazier.
Oh wow, that seems like an appropriate response.
Right? It took 3 grown men to drag him off, and then his father told everyone that his bedding caught on fire. 4 years later, Gregor was anointed a knight.
Because he deserved it. What are knights known for?
Isn't it valor?
Honesty and loyalty and...
Being a protector or something?
Yeah, protecting the people of the realm. You know how it is.
Sandor is squatting.
Squatting.
Sandor is squatting and breathing harshly in front of her. And Sansa no longer fears him. She feels sad instead.
Wow.
She touches his shoulder and says that he is no true knight. Sandor roars.
Meaning Gregor.
Yeah, he meaning Gregor. That Gregor is no true knight.
Yeah.
Sandor roars and says, no, he is not. He continues to take her back to the Red Keep, then up to her bedchamber. She thanks him and he grabs her, telling her that if she repeats that story to anyone, he will kill her.
Fun.
So fun. Very different from the episode.
Yeah. I don't remember what happened in the episode.
Peter Baelish tells her the story.
Right.
Of Hound and how he got his scars.
So
and it was mostly like rumors, like, I heard this.
Mm-hmm. So she doesn't really have any contact with Sandor.
No.
In the show.
No.
Yeah, they were cramming a lot into very little time in the show. I like this version a lot better, though.
I like it, too.
The moment where he, like, forces her to look at him is so dark and disturbing and, like, uncomfortable. That would be so great to have seen in the show. It would have been so good. It's a good scene.
And it's far more understandable to, like, if his face truly is horrendous to look at, to see why she's so scared of him.
Yeah. But to be real, as a viewer, I don't want to be looking at something that gross all the time.
Yeah. It looks like tons of makeup and shit.
Literally not look at it.
Right? Like, I don't want to see that.
Like, there are things in American Horror Story that I literally have to turn away from the screen. Like, I can't do it.
The trypophobia stuff?
Yeah. In the newest one, Cult, they've got the tryptophobia stuff, and I totally have that. So I can't look at the screen. And it's like, I don't know when it's okay to look back up. So if someone can't look at what you're putting on the screen, then it's time to reconsider what you're putting on the screen.
I'm like the total opposite when it comes to holes. I love them.
Especially
Especially in flesh.
Fucking stop. I literally can't even. It's like my arm twitched because I was about to hit you for even saying that.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Chapter Ned yet?
Yes, it's Chapter Ned. I gotta be real. I don't like this tea. It's weird.
I like the lime. That's about it.
It tastes like it should have the gin, which makes me like cringe every time I drink it.
What?
Chapter 30 is Eddard. Lots of Eddard lately. Ned and Sir Barristan Selmy are looking at the body of Sir Hugh, the boy who had been stabbed in the throat by Sir Gregor, the boy who Ned had wanted to speak to about Jon Arryn's death because he had been Jon Arryn's squire. And Ned wonders if it was a coincidence that Hugh was killed before he could talk to him.
Very suspicious. Especially
Just a
after
weird coincidence.
last chapter being told that maybe Gregor did it on purpose.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Curious. There's a silent sister there as well. They're the ones who prepare men for the grave. So, like, embalmers? Okay. Ned asks the silent sister to send Hugh's armor to his mother in the Vale, as he thinks she'd want to have it. Sir Barristan points out that Hugh hadn't finished paying for it yet, but Ned says he will deal with the smith who made it. So I guess since Hugh hadn't finished paying for the armor before his death, the smith would typically reclaim it?
Yeah.
Okay. As Sir Barristan and Ned walk to the king's pavilion, Sir Barristan brings up the king wanting to fight in today's melee. Ned knows this. Also, the thought of it worries him. Sir Barristan then says, and I quote, "They say night's beauties fade at dawn, and the children of wine are oft disowned in the morning light." End quote. That's such a complicated way to say that, like, Robert was drunk last night. He won't remember.
Right? Like, fancy.
Like, Jesus.
How
long did it take to come up with that? But yeah, basically Sir Barristan is saying Robert was drunk last night. When he said that, he probably won't even remember saying it. Ned says that some men might be that way, but not Robert. Robert will remember what he said, and he will never back down. Ned hopes to find Robert in a wine-soaked sleep, but instead he finds the king drinking beer from a polished horn, and berating 2 young squires who were trying to buckle him into his armor. When Robert notices Ned approaching, he complains about how useless his squires are, since they are unable to get him into his armor. But Ned straight up tells the king he's too fat for his armor, and that's why they can't get it on him. After a moment, the king laughs, then sends the squires off to find the breastplate stretcher. The king, Ned, and Sir Barristan are all amused by this, since it doesn't seem like a breastplate stretcher exists at all. But Ned is also worried about the boys both being Lannisters. He thinks that Robert is surrounded by way too many fucking Lannisters.
Me too.
Me too. Robert then tells them that Cersei tried to forbid him from fighting in the melee, and says that Lyanna never would have shamed him like that. Ned, however, says that Robert only ever knew Lyanna's beauty, not the iron underneath, and that she would have told him the same thing, that he has no business in the melee. So that was interesting to me. I thought that Robert actually, knew Lyanna.
No.
He only ever saw her.
They were promised to each other,
Yeah.
but that's it. They weren't really friends.
Oh my god.
He was so infatuated with her beauty and shit. He never really knew her. He just put, his perfect woman on her.
Oh, that is so fucked.
Yeah, that's pretty sick. As the story goes on, you learn that this was one-sided.
Okay, this is that was one of Robert's saving graces for me. Was I thought he knew Lyanna and he loved her for who she was.
Yeah, me too. When I first heard this, I thought they were lovers.
I didn't think they
not
had
lovers,
actually
but
gone together, but
they
they
knew
had a
each other. They
relationship.
were friends.
Yeah.
And they were engaged.
Oh my god.
Not so much though.
It really disturbs me then that he's still so obsessed with her.
Mm-hmm.
Just because she looked good.
Just because she looked good, and I guess
Fuck off.
his obsession has put a personality on her, where he can fantasize about a perfect life.
Yeah.
With his perfect wife.
Yeah, because he literally just said that.
Perfect kids.
Lyanna would never have shamed me. And Ned's yeah, she would have. You fucking ding-dong. Oh my god. Ugh. My respect for Robert just dropped a lot. It was already low. It just went lower. Okay, so Robert is annoyed by Ned and Cersei and everyone wanting him to not be in the melee. He just wants to hit someone.
Mm-hmm.
Sir Barristan points out that the fight wouldn't be fair, since no one would dare strike the king. Robert suddenly seems taken aback, so Ned jumps on this train and agrees with Sir Barristan that no one would touch Robert. They would let him win. Robert is pissed. He orders Sir Barristan to get out before he kills him. So Sir Barristan obviously leaves hastily, but dude, dramatic? Robert then orders Ned to drink and confesses that Ned or Jon Arryn should have been king. Ned tries to tell Robert he had the better claim, but Robert doesn't want to be interrupted. Okay, pause. These people stole the throne.
Yep.
From someone else. How do any of them have a claim?
Because they stole it. They took it, they destroyed the royal family.
So is
then
it because
they take it.
Robert, led the charge that they were oh, he has the claim to the throne?
Yep, he led it. It was his war.
Wow. I'm, feeling for the Targaryens here. This
right?
is, fucked.
That one king, the Mad King, he was fucked.
Oh, yeah.
But
he wasn't a good king.
When you find out what happened to, the rest of the family, you're whoa.
Dude, yeah. I'll get into some shit later.
Yeah.
About,
that
Gregor.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck. Okay. Robert tells Ned to look at what kinging has done to him. I like that. Too fat for his armor. He doesn't know how it ever came to this. He goes on to say that he has never felt so alive as he did winning the throne, or so dead now that he's won it. And Cersei. Jon Arryn advised Robert to wed her, even though Robert hadn't wanted anyone after Lyanna died. But marrying Cersei would bind Lord Tywin to him should Viserys Targaryen ever try to win back his father's throne. Robert loved Jon Arryn, but thinks he was a fool to advise such a thing. He says Cersei is nice to look at, but cold, and, quote, the way she guards her cunt, you'd think she'd had all the gold of Casterly Rock between her legs. End quote. Jesus. I guess they don't bone very often. Robert then apologizes about Sansa's wolf and says he'd bet that Joffrey was lying about what happened. Then he asks Ned if he loves his children. Ned says he does with all his heart. Robert then admits that he has dreamed of giving up his crown, heading off to the free cities and spending his time warring and whoring. But what stops him is the thought of Joffrey on the throne, with Cersei standing behind him, whispering in his ear. Robert asks how he could have made a son like Joffrey. Yeesh.
Mm-hmm.
This is quite a thing.
Like, he's getting real. Like, he knows that his kid is fucked, his wife is fucked, and he's the only one really keeping, like, the kingdom from getting fucked.
That's a lot to open up about.
Yeah.
Like, even to yourself, much less to someone else. You know what I mean? To admit to yourself that your child is, like, fucked up.
Yeah, that takes, like, a lot.
Wow.
That's a good hard look at yourself.
Yeah.
As a father and a husband.
Yeah. Well, I think he knows. He does know, but he's not quite to the point where he's like, I'm a bad father. You know?
I guess so.
Ned has little liking for Prince Joffrey, but he can hear the pain in Robert's voice. So he says that Joffrey is only a boy, and Robert was wild when he was Joff's age. Robert says Ned doesn't know the boy like he does. Robert then sighs and says perhaps Ned is right. Perhaps Robert does make a good king. When Ned doesn't say anything, Robert tells him that he can speak up and agree with him now. Ned's just like, Your Grace. And Robert slaps him on the back, saying Ned could never lie. But now he's here with Robert. Perhaps things will be different. Together they will make this a reign to sing of. So yeah, Robert knows that he's not, like, the best king in the world, but he can't quite say it himself, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I feel like I'm kind of like Ned here. Like, I have a really hard time lying to people. And I was wondering how you are with that sort of thing.
Depends on what I'm lying about and who I'm lying to. I feel like with, like, people I love, that I'm closer with, that I have a harder time lying to. People I don't, like, say coworkers. I can lie to with a straight face without blinking or nothing.
Yeah, I don't even like lying about, like, not even, like, little white lies. Like, reasons why I can't come to work. Like, if I'm not sick, I'm not the type of person to call in and be like, I'm sick.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I would be like, I just need the day off because I'm having, like, a hard time with something.
Oh.
Kind of thing. Like, not that I want to open up to people, but I have a hard time lying about even things that, like, don't matter.
I have a harder time opening up about that stuff, so I'll just say I'm sick. Because technically I am sick. Somewhat.
Yeah. If it's like a mental
thing.
thing.
If it's a bad day, it's still kind of sick.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
I do that. I'll, like, find workarounds in my head so it's, like, not a lie. But yeah, that's funny. Then Robert starts talking about the tourney, wondering who the champion will be. He's impressed by the Knight of Flowers, having beaten Jaime Lannister before. And he goes on about how Renly has said that the Knight of Flowers has a 14-year-old sister who is lovely, and blah blah blah. And he's just talking about other shit now. So, as they eat together, Robert reminisces about old times when he and Ned had been boys growing up together, which reminds Ned about who Robert is. He thinks that if he can prove the Lannisters were behind the attack on Bran, prove that they murdered Jon Arryn, Robert will listen. And if Tywin dares to rouse the West, Robert will smash him the way he smashed Rhaegar Targaryen on the Trident. And Ned is suddenly in a great mood.
For the first time since he entered King's Landing.
Yeah, but it's also really ominous. All of this, and it's like... Ned's like, you know what? I believe in you, Robert. And he's like in a great mood, walking around, enjoying life. I'm like, Ned! Even if I didn't know what comes, I think I would feel the same ominous sense.
Yeah.
Like, things are going a little too smooth with them right now. At the tourney, Ned sits with Sansa, who is utterly engrossed in the coming joust, which is the Hound versus the Lion, Jaime Lannister. Littlefinger puts a bet on Jaime, and Renly counters, placing his bet on the Hound. Ned would love nothing more than to watch them both lose. Lol. But it's Jaime's lance that finds its mark. He shifts in his seat, and the Hound's shield shatters? Or Jaime's lance? Something shatters.
Something shatters.
And the Hound barely manages to keep his seat.
It's the lance.
The lance does, yeah.
Jaime's lance.
Because they're, like, supposed to be made for shattering, so they don't kill people.
Yeah.
When they go around for a second pass, after Jaime picks up a new lance, Jaime tries shifting in his seat again, but this time the Hound shifts with him, and both lances explode, and Jaime Lannister ends up in the dirt. Sansa apparently knew the Hound would win. Littlefinger overhears her and says that if she knows who will win the second match, speak up now before Lord Renly plucks him clean. Which makes Ned smile, but makes me cringe. Jaime's helmet is dented and he can't get it off, so he's led off the field as the crowd laughs, and Robert is laughing the loudest. Next up is Sir Gregor Clegane, the Hound's brother, and the biggest man Ned has ever seen. Close to 8 feet tall at this point. Fuck.
Nuts.
That's a big ass dude.
Can you imagine his giant horse looking like a pony?
Look like a pony under him, yeah. Unlike Sandor, Gregor doesn't live at court. He is a solitary man who only leaves his own lands for wars and tourneys. He was with Lord Tywin when King's Landing fell, and some say it was he who dashed the skull of the infant prince Aegon Targaryen against a wall, and that he raped the mother, the Dornish prince Elia, before killing her. These are all rumors, and there are things that are never said in front of Sir Gregor. There's also the mysterious death of his first 2 wives, and the mysterious death of his sister, and the mysterious disfiguration of his brother's face. There's basically a lot around him that makes him a sketchy dude.
Can you imagine it being his wife?
They just get split in half.
And gotta think of like a worse hell.
I wonder how big his dick is.
That wasn't the hell I was thinking of, but okay. Matt, turns out he has a really small one.
That's why he's so mad. He was gifted with giant size, but not his tiny wiener.
He has giant balls too, but just the little thumb.
Are we shaming small dicks right now?
No.
If you have a small dick, you're beautiful. Everyone's dick is beautiful, except Sir Gregor's.
Each and every one, except for Sir Gregor's.
Except Sir Gregor's. No matter what his dick looks like, it's gross.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Knight of Flowers, Loras Tyrell, makes his entrance. He's wearing a cloak made of actual flowers, and people gasp at his beauty. He's riding a beautiful mare as well, slim and built for speed. And Sir Gregor's stallion suddenly starts acting out, and he's having trouble controlling it, and it nearly throws him off. Then they charge at each other, with Sir Gregor barely able to hold his horse in a straight line. And Loras Tyrell knocks him off his horse easily. There are cheers and applause, but when Gregor gets back up, he grabs his sword and kills his horse with a single blow to the neck. People start screaming as he starts going for Loras. Ned shouts for someone to stop him, but he can't be heard over the crowd. Loras tries to call for his own sword, but Gregor smashes him in the chest and knocks him to the ground, and Loras' horse bolts. Damn. Gregor lifts his sword for the killing blow, but then the Hound is there and tells him to leave him be. The Mountain, Gregor, swings at the Hound, Sandor, and suddenly the 2 brothers are going at it as Loras is helped to safety. Ned notices that Gregor keeps aiming at Sandor's head, but Sandor doesn't once aim for Gregor's head. I think we're seeing a difference between these 2 brothers.
Mm-hmm. Gregor is just a murderer and psychopath.
Yeah. Finally, Robert calls for them to stop, and Gregor stomps off. Loras Tyrell returns to the field and thanks Sandor, and gives him the victory. So the Hound gets the money and the love of the people. As Ned walks with Sansa to the archery field, some others join them. Littlefinger points out that Loras' horse was in heat, and is convinced that he planned the whole thing to distract Gregor's horse. But Sir Barristan is not impressed. He thinks there is small honor in tricks. Later, after the archery competition, Ned offers the winner a position with the Hands Guard, but the boy is drunk and refuses. I wasn't sure if this was important. Either way, it's kind of an interesting detail to be in the book, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
The melee goes on for 3 hours, and almost 40 men take part. The winner is the Red Priest, Thoros of Myr, who fights with a flaming sword. We don't know what a Red Priest is yet, right?
Nope.
Okay. This guy has won melees before. His fire sword frightens the other participants. There are so many injuries by the end of it that Ned is relieved that Robert didn't join in. It doesn't sound like anyone died, though, which is a relief. At the feast that night, Ned is feeling more hopeful than he's been in a long while. Robert is in a good mood, the Lannisters are nowhere to be seen, and even Arya and Sansa are getting along. Arya shows off a bruise she got from her dancing lessons, which bothers Ned, though. Arya has been doing a lot of strange things lately, like wandering around the castle blindfolded, saying Syrio is teaching her to see with her ears, nose, and skin. Ned asks Arya if she wants to keep doing these lessons, and even suggests switching teachers, but Arya wants Syrio. That night, when Ned is back in his room, he plays with the dagger that was meant to kill Bran and thinks about it all. The dagger, Bran's fall, the murder of Jon Arryn, and he tries to find the connection between it all. Ned thinks about Robert's bastard, Gendry, from the blacksmith, and Ned is certain that Gendry is Robert's bastard. He has the Baratheon look. The king has other bastards as well. His first child was actually a girl born in the Vale, when Robert had been only a lord, and she would be 17 or 18 by now, which Ned thinks is strange to think about. Wow, Robert's first kid is almost 18? Bonkers.
She's older now than he was when he conceived her.
Ew! Weird. Ned thinks that Cersei probably doesn't like her husband's slutty behavior, but it doesn't really matter because his bastards have few rights, and they don't threaten Robert's true-born children. I wrote in capitals, true-born children.
Your little...
Then there's a knock on the door, and Ned's guard sends in a visitor who is hidden entirely under a cowl. The strange man says they must speak alone. And Ned is so curious, he sends out his guard, and the man draws back his cowl, revealing Lord Varys. Ned is shocked at how easily he hid his own appearance.
Even his smell.
Yeah, he even changed his smell and shit. Like Lord Varys, master of disguise.
Man.
So they talk, and Varys reveals that today they had hoped to kill Robert during the melee. Ned is like, who? And Varys says that Ned is a fool if he doesn't know. So Ned says the Lannisters. But no, that can't be right. The Queen forbade Robert to fight in the melee. But Varys points out that that's the one true way to get Robert to do something. To forbid him to do it. Ned knows this is true. But he's still unconvinced. He asks Varys who would have dared to strike the king. But Varys says that anyone could do it in the chaos. And afterwards the slayer would be beside himself with grief, and the gracious widow, Queen Cersei, would take pity, and good King Joffrey would forgive him. Or they would just let Sir Elend execute him. Less risk that way. Ned is pissed that Varys didn't come to him earlier, but Varys didn't trust Ned until now. And Varys says that Ned's relationship to Robert, and Ned's honor, make him dangerous to Cersei, and she fears him. And Robert's love for Ned may be their salvation. Ned suddenly longs for the simplicity of the North. But Varys goes on, pointing out that Robert has no other loyal friends other than Ned. Robert's brothers hate the Lannisters, true enough, but they don't particularly love Robert. The Kingsguard contains Jaime Lannister, whose word means nothing. Sir Barristan Selmy is loyal, but old. 2 of the Kingsguard are loyal to the Queen, and Varys is suspicious of the rest of them. So there's no one else near Robert who he can trust except Ned. Ned thinks Robert must be told, but they still have no proof, and he worries that the Lannisters will make another attempt at Robert's life. Varys says they certainly will, and sooner rather than later, but Varys' little birds are listening, and he thinks he and Ned together might be able to do something about it. So Varys gets up to leave, and Ned asks suddenly how Jon Arryn died. Varys says it's called the Tears of Lys, rare, costly, clear, and tasteless. Varys begged Jon Arryn to use a taster, but Arryn did not listen. Ned wants to know who gave the poison, and Varys says, in some backwards way, that it was Arryn's squire Hugh, the one who had died in the tourney. The one Ned had wanted to talk to. Ned is like, why? Why now, after 14 years of service as the Hand? What was Jon Arryn doing that they had to kill him? And Varys says that Jon Arryn was asking questions. Mic drop. So, exactly what Ned is doing.
Mm-hmm.
Concerning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that is a lot.
You're getting a lot of information.
Yeah, and God, Ned must be so overwhelmed right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it for this episode. Definitely a lot of shit going on. What is Ned gonna do? How is he gonna react to this information?
How is he going to find proof?
Yeah, I literally don't remember.
Nice.
So, even though I just watched the show, but I'm also assuming there's gonna be a lot of differences. Mm-hmm. There's gonna be Stannis being at Dragonstone. We're gonna find out what that's all about.
Yeah.
And possibly Renly's weird thing with Marjorie, what that's about as well. So that's stuff that I'm really looking forward to learning about. Okay, thank you so much for listening. If you want more of the podcast, please follow us on Instagram. The podcast is Tigbab Podcast, Tigbab. You can also follow us individually. Mine is Crimby and Jess's is Jess.Egan24. You can also find us on Facebook if you search Tigbab Podcast again, or just search Tea is Good, Books Are Better. You can find the page there. Please also check out our friend Baram Barami on YouTube. He made our jingle that you heard at the beginning of this episode, and he's super dope and deserves all the love in the world. So let's give him some. We also have a Patreon, so if you want to give us some extra support, you can check us out on there, patreon.com/teaisgoodbooksarebetter. We do have some cool tiers with different rewards, so you will get something in return for your contribution, but we do just appreciate you listening as well. Alright, that's it.
Signing off.
We'll see you in the next one, y'all. Have a great night, or day, or morning. It depends on your listening. Bye. Your look was can you shut the fuck up? Okay, bye-bye.